quick mastery of a new thum is
astonishing.
I'd heard the stories of the abilities of Dragonborn, but to see it for myself.
I know. You should feel pleasured to be in my presence. Thank you. What's next?
You are now ready for your last trial.
Ooh.
Retrieve the horn of Jürgen Windcaller, our founder, from his tomb in the ancient fane of Ustengraf. Remain true to the way of the voice. You will return.
Sweet. Oh, an achievement. Review. Why are the dragons returning? Does it have something to do with me?
No doubt, the appearance of a dragonborn at this time is not an accident. Your destiny is surely bound up with the return of the dragons. You should focus on honing your voice, and soon your path will be made clear.
Yep, well, I don't plan to stop. Thank you, Master. I will continue on my training.
Good. Then you will be ready for whatever lies ahead.
I will go now.
Sky, departure.
Okay. Now, let's quickly check how much money we have. Ew, yuck. How do you get fast cash? How do you get fast cash? Make jewelry, sell it. Wait 2 days, sell some more. Wait 2 days, sell some. Okay, okay. We're gonna have to get into smithing. I think that's gonna be our main way of money at the moment. Where do we need to go? All the way over to the marshland. Okay. Well, I'm sure there's gonna be a bookshelf we can borrow around someone else's house, right? Let's just go to Whiterun for now and see what houses
My cousin's out fighting dragons.
are cultists.
What do I get?
You there. You're the one they call Dragonborn.
And you're the one they call cultists. Yes, I am
Your
Dragonborn.
lies fall on deaf ears, Deceiver. The true Dragonborn comes. You are but his shadow. When Lord Mirak appears, all shall bear witness. None shall stand to oppose him.
Except for me. Because you will get slaughtered right now. This may be a little harder than I thought. Oh no. Okay. That's one down. Thank you. Now, I'm gonna want them. I'm gonna want that. I'm gonna wear them. I'm gonna take them. Thank you. And these are gonna be my collection sets of armor. Ooh. Board the vessel Northern Maiden docked at Raven Rock. Take it to Windhelm, then begin your search. Kill the false dragonborn known as Greg II before he reaches Soulstone. Return with word of your success, and Mirak shall be most pleased. Okay. Well, too bad that he won't be pleased. I'm gonna take them, take that, and take them. And this booty. Now, Breezy
Guard might
Hunt.
get nervous. A man approaches with his weapon drawn.
Whatever. This is one of the homes that you can buy. And, does it only have one entrance? Okay, well, there's no way in. Did anyone actually die other than the cultists?
I ain't done nothing.
What are you looking at? I'm not afraid of you.
Okay.
Even if you are my elder.
There is someone with a bookshelf. Is it considered stealing? No. What? Okay. your bookshelf? Can I put stuff in it?
You tried mercenary work? It might suit you.
Nope, I can't put stuff in your bookshelf. Okay.
Sometimes I miss the soldier's life.
Well,
My daughter in my arms.
this is now
I know I made it.
my new bookshelf. Let's get started. Should we do... Have we read this? Okay, well, I might do a journal episode, but let's just keep that for now. Because that was, for a mission that we did a while ago for the Golden Claw. History of the Should we... I feel like I want to save them until I have all the volumes. Then I can do a full episode on it. Now this is a mission book, I believe. I'm not too sure, but we're going to read it. Chamuvamedium. Yes. Wait, no, is it? Chamuvamedium. Ancient Tales of the Dwemer, Part 6. By Marabar Sal. Okay, I don't know if there's parts before this, but we're going to read it anyway. After many battles, it was clear who would win the war. The Chimmer had great skills in magic and bladery, but against armoured battalions of the Dwemer, clad in the finest shielding, wrought by Nago. Okay, this is some hard reading. There was little hope, and their ever winning. There was little hope of their ever winning. In the interest of keeping some measure of peace in the land, oh my god, Sovin, the warlord, agreed to a truce with Karanifil Barith, the beast. In exchange for the disputed lands, Sovin gave Barith a mighty golem, which would protect the Chimmer's territory from the excursions of the northern barbarians. Barith was delighted with his gift and brought it back to his camp, where all his warriors gaped in awe at it. Sparkling gold in hue, it resembled a Dwemer cavalier with a proud aspect. To test its strength, they placed the golem in the center of an arena and flung magical bolts of lightning at it. Its agility was such that a few of the bolts struck it. It had the wherewithal to pivot on its hips to avoid the brunt of the attacks without losing its balance. Feet firmly planted on the ground, a vault of fireballs followed, which the golem ably dodged, bending its knees and its legs to spin around the blast. A few times it was struck. It made certain to be hit in the chest and waist, the strongest parts of its body. The troops cheered at the sight of such an agile and powerful creation. With it leading the defense, the barbarians of Skyrim would never again successfully raid their villages. They named it Chamuvamedium, the hope of the Chimmer. Barith has the golem brought to his chambers with all his house thanes, where they tested Chamuvamedium further. Its strength, its speed, its resilience. They could find no flaw in its design. Imagine when the naked barbarians first meet this on one of their raids, laughed one of the house thanes. It is only unfortunate that it resembles a Dwemer instead of one of our own, mused Carinifil? Carinifil? Barif? It is revolting to think that they Revolting to think they will have a greater respect for our other enemies than us. I think we should never accept the peace terms that we did, said another, one of the most aggressive of the House Thanes. It is too late to surprise the warlord Thoven with an attack. It is never too late to attack, said Barif. But what of his great armoured warriors? I understand, said Barif's spymaster, that his soldiers always awake at dawn. If we strike an hour before, we can catch them defenceless, before they have a chance to bathe, let alone don their armour. If we capture their armourer Nago, then we too know the secrets. Blacksmithery, said Barif. Let it be done. We attack tomorrow, an hour before dawn. So it was settled. The Chimera army marched at night, and swarmed into the Dwemer camp. They were relying on the Chimeravidium to lead the first wave, but it malfunctioned and began attacking the Chimera's own troops. Added to that, the Dwemer were fully armoured, well rested, and eager for a battle. The surprise was turned, and most of the high-ranking Chimera, included Carinifil, Barif the Beast, were captured. Though they were too proud to ask, Thoven explained to them that he had been warned of their attack by a calling by one of his men. What man of yours is in our camp? Sneered Barif. Chimeravidium, standing erect by the side of the captured, removed its hood. Within its metal body was Nago, the armourer. A Dwemer child of 8 can create a golem, he explained. But only a truly great warrior and armourer can pretend to be one. Publisher's note. This is one of the few tales in this collection which can actually be traced to the Dwemer. The wording of the story is quite different from older versions in Aldmeris, but the essence is the same. Chimeravidium may be the Dwemer Marfunadums. This word occurs several times in plans of Dwemer armor and animacoli, but its meaning is not known. It is almost certainly not Hope of the Dwemer. However, the Dwemer were probably the first to use heavy armor. It is important to note how a man dressed in armor could fool many of the Chimera in the story. Also note how the Chimera warriors react. When this story was first told, armor that covered the whole body must have still been uncommon and new, whereas even then Dwemer creations like golems and centurions were well known. In a rare scholarly moment, Marabar Sol leaves a few pieces of the original story intact, such as parts of a original line in Aldmeris. A Dwemer of 8 can create a golem, but only 8 Dwemer can become one. Another aspect of the legend that scholars like myself find interesting is the mention of the calling. This is a legend. In this legend, and in others, there is a suggestion that a Dwemer race as a whole had some sort of silent and magical communication. There are records of Sigic order, which suggests they too share this secret. Whatever the case, there are no documented spells of calling. The Cyrodiil historian Garcilis Malia first proposed this as a solution to the disappearance of the Dwemer. He theorized that in 1E668, the Dwemer enclaves were called together by one of their powerful philosopher sorcerers, Cagnac, in some document, to embark on a great journey, one of such sublime profanity that they abandon all of their cities and lands to join the quest to foreign climes as an entire culture. Holy fuck, that was a big book. No extra pages? No? Okay. Is that like a 1 episode book right there? That felt like a 1 episode book. That book's getting stored. Jesus Christ. Mixed unit tactics. My man, how big is this? Okay, well, let's just do it. Mixed unit tactics. In the 5 Years' War, Volume 1, by Kodos Kalanas. The legions could learn from the legions could learn from the unconventional tactics used by the Khajiit in the 5 Years of War against Valenwood. It was stationed at the Sphinxmoth Legion fought on the border near Dune and witnessed many of the northern skirmishes firsthand. The war started with the so-called slaughter of Corval. The Khajiit claimed that the Bosmer invaded the city without provocation and killed over 1,000 citizens before being driven off by reinforcements from a nearby jungle tribe. The Bosmer claimed that the attack was in retaliation for Khajiit bandits who were attacking wood caravans headed for Valenwood. In the spring of 3E396, the war moved closer to Fort Sphinxmoth. I was posted on lookout and saw parts of the conflict. I later spoke with both Khajiit and Bosmer who fought in the battle, and it will serve as an excellent example of how Khajiit used a mixture of ground and tree units to win the war. The Khajiit began the fight in an unusual way by sending tree-cutting teams of Cafe Rat and the fearsome Sentrat, or Battle Cats, into the outskirts of Valenwood's forests. When word reached the Bosmer that the trees were being felled, allegedly a crime in the strange Bosmer religion, a unit of archers were dispatched from larger conflicts in the south. The Bosmer were thus goaded into splitting their forces into smaller groups. The Bosmer archers took up positions in the remaining trees, whose branches were now 20 or more feet apart, allowing some light into the forest floor. The Bosmer bent the remaining trees with their magics to small fortifications from which to fire their bows. When the tree cutters arrived the next morning, a half-dozen Khajiit fell to the Bosmer arrows in the first volley. After that, the Khajiit took large wooden shields from the backs of the Shensrat and made a crude shelter. The Khajiit, even the enormous Shantrat, were able to hide between this shelter and one of the larger trees. When it became apparent that the Khajiit would not leave their shelter, some Bosmer chose to descend and engage Khajiit sword to claw. When the Bosmer were nearly upon the shelter, one of the Khajiit began playing on a native instrument, plucked metal bars. This was a signal of some kind, and a small group of man-like Ohms and Omrat emerged from the covered holes in the on the forest floor. Although outnumbered, they were attacked from behind by surprise and won the ground quickly. The Bosmer archers in the trees would have still won the battle were they not having troubles of their own. A group, Dagi and Dagirat, two of the less common forms of Khajiit, who lived in the trees of the Sanmar forest, jumped from one tree to another under a magical cover of silence. They took up positions higher in the higher branches that could not hold a Bosmer weight. When the signal came, they used their claws and other torches or spells of fire. Accounts from the two survivors I spoke with vary on this point. To distract the archers while the battle on the ground took place, a few of the archers were able to flee, but most were killed. Apparently the Dagi and the Dagirat have more magical ability than is widely believed, if they were able to keep themselves magically silenced for so long. One of the surviving Bosmer told me that he saw a few ordinary cats among the Dagi, and even claimed that these ordinary cats are known as Alfig, and that they were the spellcasters, but Bosmer and are almost as unreliable as the Khajiit when it comes to the truth, and I cannot believe that a house cat can cast spells. At the end of the day, Khajiit lost perhaps a half-dozen fighters out of the force, no more than 4 dozen. While the Bosmer lost nearly an entire company of archers, the survivors were unable to report back before a second company of archers arrived, and this strategy was repeated again, with similar results. Finally, a much larger force was sent, and the Bosmer won that battle with the help of the native animals of Valenwood. That third skirmish and the Khajiit response I will discuss in the second volume of this series. We can read these. Okay, well, I think I've read enough. I don't know about you guys, but that should be enough. I will read more if I have to. Did I put the book in there? Yes, I did. Okay. What was I gonna say? Hope you enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, every subscriber helps during the puddle to make the puddle bigger. And have a good day, guys.